Good evening, lovely spirits. It's your main man here, Mr. Solace. Now, today I want to do this video, breaking down vision. Because men have eyes and they see, yet they do not see. And I just don't understand it. It's a deep, deep thing. But what I want to do is hold up a series of images. And I want to break down what y'all see as opposed to what is truly there. And maybe that'll help some of you begin to truly see. Because knowledge is a matter of seeing. Being taught, but not being able to see what you're taught in the life is almost a waste. And it's a deep thing. Now, let me hold up the first image. What do you see? Now, I know most of y'all see the sun setting and then the dark night sky with stars in it. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Because every day you see the sun rise to great heights above all else. And then every night you see it fall into darkness. Yet you do not grasp. And it's a deep thing. Every day y'all see the same thing. You see the sun rise, and then you see it fall into the bottomless night. And y'all just don't understand. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? You see the story every night, but there's no correlation. Solace told you, every day is the same day. And it is not the days that are changing, but it is you coming and going from the same day. Coming and going, I'm speaking sleep. When you go to sleep, you leave the day. You leave the 24-hour day. You leave time. So you have to grasp. It's the same day. Every day. That same day. From the beginning of time. And it's a deep thing y'all don't grasp, because the life holds no secrets. So, whatever happens in the life, you'll always be able to see it. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Here's another image. What do you see? Now, most of y'all, I don't know if it's clear, but it's the image of a star through a telescope. So this is what a star or a sun looks like through a telescope. You see the cloud around it. You see the cloud around it. You see the light. But men do not grasp. They see things. They read things. But there's no correlation. Now let me show you one more time. All stars have that cloud around them. And it's a deep thing. Because if you go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4, it says, Then I looked, and behold, a whirlwind was coming out of the north, a great cloud, with raging fire, engulfing itself, and brightness was all around it, radiating out of its midst like the color of amber. Again, then I looked, and behold, a whirlwind was coming out of the north, a great cloud with raging fire. It's a deep thing, man. Men do not see and they cannot grasp. I truly do not understand. It's a deep thing. The burden is mine because he who has wisdom, that is his burden. You have to teach the truth. If men grasp or don't, that's not your burden. But if you don't help, when you can help, if tools have been given to you and you don't use them, then the burden is yours. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. When you're dealing with wisdom, there's a burden to it. There's many burdens to wisdom. But the main one is the responsibility. If you have the power to stop someone from getting harmed without risking your life, just if you have the power to intervene and stop something terrible from happening, and you don't, the burden is yours. Why? Because you could have stopped it. But you didn't. And we all do this. We bored, we see things happening that we could easily say, hey, stop. And we have that power, but sometimes we fall back and just watch the foolishness because we like, it's boring. And it's a deep thing, but that's what I mean by the wisdom. This is why I teach, because I have to. But it's a deep thing. Here's the next image. Now, what do y'all see? We see cows and bulls of ancient Kem. You see the moon. See the moon. And you see the bulls. And it's a deep thing. Because this is all men see. Is bulls and moons. But there's no correlation. There's no true understanding. Now the bulls have nothing to do with the painting. It's a deep thing. The ancient Kemetic people weren't telling you anything about bulls. Bulls are not important in the carving. What's important is the moon and what the bull represents. So those are the only two things in the carving that you're supposed to be grasping. What the bull represents and the moon. So it is telling you the moon is whatever the bull represents. And this is why the cow jumped over the moon. See, we get all of our children's tales and goofy stuff from divine, deep knowledge. Now I have a video that I'm going to do called The Correlation Between Menstrual Cycles of a Woman and the Moon. And I'm going to be breaking down some heavy things. But that's what that carving means. The bull represents fertility. The moon is the moon. But men don't know what that is. But they know what the moon is. So there's no one that'll see this carving and not know that there's a moon in the carving. So this is what I mean by men know what the moon is when they see it. And this is why it's put and carved that way. Because without the bull, then it is just what a moon is to men. Which is, men don't know what the moon is. So they put the bull to break down that the moon has to do with fertility. And it correlates with fertility here. A woman's menstrual cycle has to do with the moon. So this was the deep behind knowledge. The surface was just the moon has to do with fertility. And that's what you need to know. Now, the in-depth understanding is the menstrual cycle of a woman and how it correlates with the moon. This is why you have like the blood moon and different things like this. I don't want to say too much because, like I said, I'm doing a video on this. And it's a deep thing, but how can I put it without going too deep? The cycles of the moon correlate with the cycles of a woman. And it's a deep thing because a woman goes through different cycles throughout the month. So we look at the menstrual cycle as just a one-time throughout the month thing. And it's a process, a cycle that's happening throughout the whole time. The 28-day period, that whole time. And the moon cycles move in that same way. The moon, I don't want to go too deep, but a lot of y'all know where I'm going with the rotation of the moon in correlation to the earth and the amount of time that is, and the correlation to the amount of time a woman goes through her menstrual cycle. I just want to give y'all the correlations without the actual, the actual jewel. You have to dig for the jewel, but it's a deep thing. Minds have to start working. It's very deep. I'm gonna just look out for that video, menstrual cycles and the moon, because it's a deep thing. Now here's another image. And what you're looking at on the top is an atom. And on the bottom, you have a solar system. And it's a deep correlation that men do not grasp. You see how the electrons circle around the proton, neutron? And you see how the planets circle around the sun in the same way? As above, so below, or as without, so within. Micro, macro. It is all the same thing. Now what y'all have to understand is this sun is one of these electrons on a macro level. And the proton neutron is too big for us to perceive. But this electron would be circling a proton neutron with other electrons. And the electrons carry dust particles that they attract as they move in their cycle around the proton neutron. So it's a deep thing, man. The knowledge is deep. Finding the words for y'all to grasp, because I see all this. So it's rather simple to me, but it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. It's like I said, there's more than one sun. Well, I may have said it wrong, and this is why people didn't grasp. I said there's more than one sun in our solar system. And it's a deep thing because our solar system is a part of a bigger network, which is this. It's an atom on the macro. And we know an atom consists of electrons and protons and neutrons. Now the electrons are smaller than the protons and neutrons. So you have to grasp. We can barely see our sun. So you shouldn't expect to see the proton neutrons that our sun is moving around. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. But when you see a solar system, what you're seeing is just that little piece of a perspective. This would be the sun. And the planets will be little dust particles trying to keep up with it. And it's a deep thing. Anything moving going to attract smaller things, so to say. So it's a deep thing when you're looking at the solar system or the sun. Just know that it's a piece. You're just looking at one speck. You're just looking at one electron on an atom on the macro. I don't think scientists are up to that level of understanding yet. But it's a deep treat that y'all are getting. If you can grasp, it's a deep treat. I don't even think they teach this kind of stuff in secret societies. It's a deep thing. Oh, I know some secret society knowledge. You know I got secret society buddies? That's another story. But there's no truth in their words. Only confusion. Now grasp. Here's another image. And what we have here is the Hindu god Shiva. I put a painting and I put a real actual statue of Lord Shiva. Now hopefully some of y'all have some understanding. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Brahma's the creator god. Vishnu's the sustainer. And Shiva's the destroyer. Now it's a deep thing. I want y'all to look at the characteristics of Shiva. Because the characteristics of Shiva, he always appears gay. Look at him. He looks like a gay man. A cross-dresser. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Because this is how much women were just not cherished. Men do not cherish women for some reason. Because y'all have to understand, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. This is Brahma's the masculine energies. And Shiva is the feminine energies. So Shiva's supposed to be a woman. But men do not give women honor. For some reason, I don't understand why. So as opposed to making Shiva a woman, they just make a man look like a woman. You see how perverted the minds of men are. They'd rather make a man look gay than make a large statue of a woman. Because Shiva is the most important part of the three. So as opposed to giving the woman the most important part of the three, they'd rather just make a man look like he's gay. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. This is how truth gets distorted and lost. Because Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva would make so much sense if Shiva was depicted how she's supposed to be. Feminine energies. You've got the masculine energies. This is the thought. The creation. Creation comes from thought. Then you have Shiva, which is destruction. The destroyer. This is the feminine energies. Big ball of emotions. All the emotions. But there's no order there. Now, Vishnu is just Brahma and Shiva joined. When thought and all the emotion merge, then you get the beauty of the life. You get order to all that ball of emotion or energy. And this is what that is. So it starts with thought, creation, Brahma. And then it goes on its course into Shiva, which basically the feminine energies will always take over in the life. And this is what leads to the destruction. So emotions is what leads to, men do not move like robots. They have emotion. And when the emotion begins to take over, as you see in today's times, even men are emotional. So it's a deep thing. Even the leaders are emotional. Everybody's emotional when emotions is running high. We in Shiva times. And Shiva leads to the destruction, which brings about the beginnings. So it's a beautiful It's a beautiful thing, and I wish they would make Shiva a woman, because making the men gay or feminine is absurd. But this is why Shiva is always depicted in a girly way. I know a lot of y'all always wondered, why is Shiva look like he's gay? It's not to say that he's gay, but it's to say what he represents, which is the feminine energies. And they should have just used a woman. But men don't have respect. It's a deep thing. Now, here's another image. And what do you see? Ah, shit. Yeah, that's shit on the top. And that is soil, dirt, earth at the bottom. So that's shit and that's dirt. And men have no correlation. They do not understand. It is a deep thing. Because shit becomes soil. And there's really nothing to break down with that. It's really common sense. But I know there's some that won't grasp. But shit is soil. So men just have to understand that. Before toilets and things like this, everything shitted on the ground. And you know, the shit became the soil. Shit and piss, baby. Perfect mixture of soil. So the next time you go to Home Depot and you buy that nice bag of soil or shit, just grasp. You could have shit it yourself and saved it. That's disgusting, right? Yeah, but you could go buy a bag of shit. You're like, no, this ain't shit. This is soil. You ever smelled soil? Y'all better get a clue. It's a deep thing. And I ain't talking about soil they sprayed down and GMO'd up. Because, you know, they got the GMO soil. The fake soil. Make your stuff grow crazy fast. It's like robot soil. It pull the weeds up and everything. It's a deep thing. It's weird. The soil come with seeds already in it. It's deep. But shit is soil. Or shit becomes soil. Just like blood becomes oil. Certain organs becomes diamonds and rubies, and it's a deep thing. What do we have here? This is a Roman carving of men tongue kissing and grabbing each other's penis, with little children and old women all around them watching, pulling at their butt, and all type of freaky stuff. And then on the bottom, hopefully y'all can see, but you have two men actually having sex. It's disgusting. Now, I know for all my manly men on here, you know, mans. I know y'all like, why are you showing us that? That's disgusting. But I just wanted y'all to understand that in Rome and Greek, there was no such thing as sexual preference. There was no male and female. At one point in time in Rome and Greek, man, they ain't had no male and female. You could have a wife, a boyfriend, and a dog, and fuck all of them, and it was okay. It's a deep thing. They knew what man and woman was, but you know how we live, where you have men like men, men like women, women like men, and then you have our gay counterparts where men like men and women like women. Well, in ancient Rome, there was none of that order. It was just a man could have sex with a man could have sex with a woman, a man could have sex with a dog, a kid. There was no preferences in ancient Greek and Rome. At one point in time, there was no preferences like a man's supposed to be with a woman, a gay man is supposed to be with a gay. You know how like gay people, they even have their rules, like studs is supposed to be with feminine women, and they got their order. In ancient Rome, there was no order within the gayness. It was no order. Woman be with woman, woman be with man. It was a deep thing you have to grasp. This is where the orgies and all that freaky stuff, that's how that happens. Because if I'm married to my wife and I got a boyfriend, because that's a go. She not a man, so I can have a boyfriend. And I got this little kid over here too that I smash out. And I got this little dog. I have sex with the dog too sometimes. And she got the same thing going on her end. So this is how orgies and weird shit happens. This is how they got to this point. I should have used my other phone, get a more crispier picture. But it's a deep thing, man. Disgusting. That's what the carving means. Anything's a go. Man on man, woman on man, woman on woman. Kids could get the dick too. It was a deep thing. It was a deep thing. And this is some of the ancient Roman sex toys. You see all those dildos and things? Oh, it's a deep thing. They were perverted. Oh, they were so perverted. Correlated to now. So you can grasp how much more perverted than they were. We more perverted than that now. It's all type of, it's a deep thing. You got an industry for this kind of stuff now. So this is nothing to us. It's just interesting to look at. But if you want to start comparing their sex toys to the amounts that we have now, there's no comparison, buddy. So if you see those pictures and you think to yourself, man, the Greeks and Romans was perverted. Learn to judge self. It's a deep thing. I don't even know if I should break this down, but this cool gentleman here is Sargon the Great. I'm not sure if I want to break him down. This is Akkadian, Sumer, ancient Sumer, that area. This is their history. And Judah, it's a deep thing. He was a part of their history also. The Hebrew Israelite Judah, the tribe of Judah. Well, Judah married the Canaanite woman. So this is the Babylonian lands. And Judah married a Canaanite woman, and he lived over there and ruled over there. Judah didn't see himself as one with his Israelite brothers. He didn't want to be a part of them. They were slaves. And Judah had married a king's daughter from Canaan. So he was a ruler in Canaan. So he didn't like to associate himself with his brothers too much, because they was peasants. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. If you go to ancient Sumer history, you have the Judah cylinder, spelled G-U-D-E-A. This is where you get Judea and all of that from G-U-D-E-A. Sumerian history. And they speak of Judah or Judea, however you want to pronounce it. But this is how you get the split in the Hebrew Israelites, where you have the tribe of Judah separated from the rest. And this is how you get Jews, the Jewish, because Judah was mingling with the Canaanites, the Gentiles, white people. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. So this is why the Jews are not necessarily white people, meaning Hitler and white people did them filthy, because they didn't view them no different than us, even though they were white. And this is why, because Hebrew Israelites and the Jewish people, I don't want to say they're one and the same, because Judah was mingling outside of his nationality, which they all were, but he was on the way far side, Judah. This is why tribe of Judah is separated from the rest. And this is where you get Jewish people looking white and weird like that. And it's a deep thing. This is some of the clans of the Native Americans that was here. Now, I know a lot of y'all think the Native Americans were Indians and all this weird stuff, but they weren't. They were black people that you see now. The Spanish, not the Spanish, I'm sorry. The Dominicans, all those islands, the Dominicans, the Haitians, all those islands, black people, well, this is who was here. So nothing changed except white people came. And other people started to come too, like Chinese people. So this is why you got all this chaos and confusion here. But if you go back in the time, the only difference would be is there would just be no white, Chinese, and all the other races. But you would still have black men, you know, the race of people we call black, because we truly don't know what their nationality is. Those people, us, they was in the North American region. And then you pretty much had everybody where they are. So the Dominicans, they was where they at. Where they at now, that's where they been. White people just came. So you have to grasp, nothing changed. The Haitians, they still in the same place they was in when the white people came. So nothing changed. Just the name did. They changed the name to Haiti. They changed the name to Dominican Republic. They changed the name to United States of America. So that's what changed, but the people are still here, the same people. And this is a breakdown of some of our history, and it's a deep thing you have to grasp. This is why when I hear brothers say, coon, it's like, damn, brothers don't have no knowledge and understanding on so much. Because you had the Coon Clan. So it's like here, you have Turtle Clan. These was the 5 most popular. You had the Wolf Clan, the Bear Clan, the Deer Clan. I can't really see. The Turtle Clan, the Bird Clan. You had the Coon Clan, which is the Raccoon Clan, which was a real thing. They really had the Raccoon Clan. They had the Snake Clan, the Owl Clan. All types of clans. The Beaver Clan. Many different clans. This was the Coon Clan, the Raccoon Clan, because nobody said raccoon. That's stupid and long. Why would you say all of that? You just say coon. Raccoons are still called coons today. And this is the staff of someone who was a part of the Coon Clan. So it's a deep thing, man. They wore their things of the life. You got to remember, the animals was a part of the tribe. And they lived in the way of the animals. So it's a deep thing. It wasn't no worshiping no men, no god men, nothing like that. They was one with the life. They seen the animals as a part of the clan. This beautiful white woman, she would have been black. And that's how they mingled with the animals. So those in the Coon Clan, they would have been one with the raccoons. The raccoons would not have ran from them because they dwelled in the same way. When I say the same way, I don't mean they dwelt and lived like raccoons. But I mean, animals live how they live. It is instilled in them through the life. We understand that. When an animal is born, just by genetics and nature, it does what it does. It's set on its course. It lives how the life wants it to live. And the animals are one with the life. This is why they don't need weathermen and things like this. They can just look up above. They're tapped in. Their senses is tapped in. And they know what's what. So animals live according to the proper ways of life. They don't go against it. They live how the life chose. Men have deep conscience, so they do what they want. Now, when I say that those in the Coon Clan or those in the Bear Clan, lived in the way of the animal, it wasn't to say that the animal was teaching them how to live, but they were observing the way the animal lived, knowing that life set the animal on that course. So they lived in the manner of life that the animal lived, and respected certain aspects of the life that the animals did. So it's a deep thing. These were some of the masks. Y'all know I'm ghetto. Bear Clan, Wolf Clan. They had all types of clans. Snake Clan. They wore fly stuff like this. You have to grasp. They were flyer than the white men when they came. The white men came decked out in their little suits. And y'all see little images scattered here and there. And the natives look bad. Like they starving and stuff like this. But in all actuality, the natives was wearing furs. And this straight from the animal. This ain't no cut down leather, cut down fur. This ain't no factory manufactured. This is straight from the animal's hide. That animal would have been a part of their tribe. And when it passed on, it would have been a ceremony for the animal. It would have been a feast in regards to the animal. It would have been many animals out there and many people out there celebrating the passing over of that life. And the skins of the animal would have been worn by whoever was closest to that animal. Jackets and things like this was made. It wasn't about fashion in the sense of that, but it was about the oneness with the life. I know sometimes y'all see the Native Americans in movies, and they may have the bears over them and the wolves over their head. And we think, oh, they killed the wolf. He went to war, battle with a wolf, and that's why he's wearing that. No, they were wearing that because that's what clan they were a part of, meaning that's the way of life they lived. And that bear you see him with it on, that probably was his right-hand man. Because every man had a best friend pet. Not a pet, but a best friend animal. We have pets now, where we're master over them. In the past, every man had his best friend, his wife, and it was the same with the pets. He had a best friend that was the pet. Not a pet, an animal. I gotta stop saying that. But he had a best friend that was an animal. So that particular bear may have been his best friend since young. Y'all gotta understand, some of the animals were born into the tribe at the same time as some of the children. And they literally came up together. You kill a Native American animal, man, the whole tribe is looking for you, B. Because it's not like you just killed the animal. You killed a family member. They coming for you. They didn't play that. It wasn't no killing the animals. They moved with them like it was deep. I want y'all to really get a full perspective. You see this? They were fly. It wasn't... Y'all got this twisted. Y'all think the white man came over there flying advanced, and they weren't. They were advanced. They had lights. And they weren't necessarily doing everything the right way, because they was doing the lights the same way we do it, you know, burning coal and all that weird stuff. But this is where the white man got that from. It was tobacco farms and all. The natives had their thing together. They was fly. You see the coontails. So you know whoever this was, they was in the Coon clan. Now you don't get it twisted. Their nationality was whatever their nationality was. So, you was Chickasaw, Cherokee, whatever like that. That's whatever you was. Now, within each nationality, like Chickasaw, Cherokee, within each nationality, you had the clans. This was the way of life that certain people within that nationality lived. So, in the Cherokee clan, you had bear tribes. In the Chickasaw clan, you had bear tribes. And this is how things were settled. Because he'd be another nationality. He'd be Chickasaw. He'd be Cherokee. But they both bear clan, meaning they both understand life from the same perspective. So they would be able to talk and get to the bottom of whatever complications or situations may transpire. So it wasn't about separation. Oh, the Bear Clan is separated from the... It wasn't about that. You had different... It's like now. If you were Christian and you somewhere in a part of the world where everybody Muslim, and you see another Christian, you like, he understands life my way. It was like that in the past. I be Cherokee. You be Chickasaw. I be Wolf Clan. Somebody in your nationality will be Wolf Clan. We would understand life from the same aspects. We would see each other as brothers. That's a fellow wolf. So I would see myself as one with whoever was in your nationality. That was my brother right there. He was in the Wolf Clan, that's my brother. So it's like now, you could be Spanish, black, whatever, and say you in this gang. You see another person from another nation. I'm black, you Spanish. We both bloods. The other Spanish dude is Crip and the other black dude is Crip. Me and him gonna connect, even though we the same nationality. So this is what I'm explaining. Chickasaw, Cherokee, this is just like the nationality. But the way of life, this was the clan thing. Almost like a gang, but more loving. It didn't have to do with gang stuff. It just had to do with territory. Like animals keep territory. They piss, things like this, to keep their territory. You know, there's enough space for everybody. It's no need for anyone intruding. So it was just more on the basis of that. And the natives was just deep. I just want y'all to understand, man, they weren't struggling. They weren't bums and none of that, man. They was deep. This the Lenape. Somebody that was in the Lenape tribe, they would have been in the Turtle Clan. And if somebody from Cherokee was in the Turtle Clan, they would have viewed him as his brother. That's my brother right there. We both Turtle Clan in it. So you wouldn't have necessarily heard like Lenape or Chickasaw or Cherokee. When the Native Americans encountered the whites, they wouldn't have told them that. Like, oh, I'm Lenape, I'm Cherokee, I'm Chickasaw. They would have told them the tribe, wolf people, bear people, coon people. And this is how that got all misconstrued. Because now when white people calling motherfuckers, hey, coon, it wasn't in an insulting way. I mean, the way they talked to us, period, was insulting. So it was insulting. But they didn't make up that word, coon, as an insult. That was our word. All the words they used was our words. They just insulted us regardless. So it didn't matter if they called you your name. Hey, James. It was just insulting. But this is how coon got all misconstrued to be some type of insult when it's truly a part of our history. Wolf Clan, Bear Clan, they would have said people. Wolf people, bear people, coon people, rabbit people, coyote people. Every aspect of the life, there was a clan for it. Some clans was more popular than others, meaning that the Bear Clan, this was popular. This was in all the nationalities. Chickasaw, Cherokee, Lenape, whatever. They all had big clans. So certain clans was more popular. Coon Clan, it was it's deep because Coon Clan was popular. It was one of the popular ones. It wasn't in every nationality, but those that lived in the areas where the Coon is, it was popular. The Coon Clan made noise. Everybody knew the Coon Clan. It wasn't like in ancient times, back in slave times or before slavery, if you said Coon Clan, niggas would have been like, what's that? It was known. The Coon Clan, I'm starting to think, was probably one of the most popular. And then, when white people came and all the history got confused and Coon became some weird bad thing, then I think a lot of that just got tossed to the side. Like the staffs with the coons. If you go look at, if you can find old pictures, you see a lot of them with the coon tails. And that was the tribe. Turtle clans that have like turtle shells on their shoulders, and it was just a part of the get up. It was a deep thing. Have a coon hat on with the whole coon head, the whole coon body, just made into a hat. Skin it, and shave down the dead cells. The process of making leather. You make the hat out of it and wear the whole thing. And it was deep like that. And men just don't have that understanding anymore. Now I want to show y'all one more thing before I go that has to do with slavery. This image. Now what you have here is a New York City housing projects. And here is slave headquarters in slave time. And here's another slave headquarters in slave times. And I want y'all to get a good look at the correlation. Now, if you live in Atlanta, Georgia, or somewhere in the South, y'all know y'all projects used to look like this, like Capitol Homes and Bowen Homes. Y'all know I'm an AT alien. I get around. I used to go to high school and elementary school in Georgia. I went to Glen Haven Elementary and I went to Towers High. So if you from Georgia, just know Silas get around. I got high schools of people out there that know me. And it's like that in a lot of places. I'm not no square. So you got to grasp. It's a deep thing. But what you have here is just slave headquarters of today times. If you live in Georgia, you know y'all projects look just like these before they ripped them down. Like I said, man, I'm an AT alien. I know Georgia. I was out there when they ripped Capitol Home down. Used to buy my weed over there. Nigga used to sell crack for me over there. I'm not even lying. On some real shit. But this is over there, Allison Court area. That's on the other side of town. Niggas out there used to hustle for me by the gas station. So, like, I really get around. When I got shot in New York, I went down there and started moving my product. Because I couldn't walk. So, I was no use in New York. So, I said, let me go down there and relax. And find a nigga out there to sell my shit. But, not to get off course, I'm sorry. But as y'all can see, there's no difference between the past and now. It's the same slave system. They just got better and bigger. It's on a bigger level now. But we live in the same system in the same times as the past. And people have to start understanding that. We like to think that slaves was getting their feet cut off and all this crazy stuff. And these was just cases. Just like now. A man might lose his foot at work. But these is just cases. This is not what happens. So slaves didn't get their feet cut off and things like this. Slaves was like slaves is now. But it was just more new. So it was more restricted. But a slave could have ran away. It wasn't like how they make it in the movies where somebody standing on the horse with the shotgun and if you run away you get shot. Wasn't no slave gonna run away. Because if you ran away you don't own the land that you're running away from. So you have to grasp. Not the land you're running away from. The land you own is owned by your master. When you leave his land, that land's owned by somebody else. So you don't want to do no shit like that. So slaves wasn't running away unless they had somewhere to go. Because you run away from the plantation, you run on the next one. You finished. You the next nigga property. Slaves ain't play that. Because that was war between the slave masters. Slave masters didn't play that. Because that was war between them. Why you got my property on your property? Oh, your property ran away. Nah, nigga, you stole them. Slaves get branded. It was all property things. So slaves wasn't necessarily running away like that. Unless they had somewhere to go. It's a deep thing. It was truly like it is in today's times. A slave could leave when... I ain't gonna say could leave, but a slave could be bought and sold. It's not like now. It was more property. People were more like property. People are still like property now, but there's a sense of freedom, meaning you can pick the plantation you want to work for. In the past, you didn't really get to pick. You was bought, and you had to work wherever you was bought. So just put it in today's times, if McDonald's bought you, your ass was working at McDonald's, period. If Whole Foods bought you, your ass was working on the Whole Foods plantation, period. And something might happen, and the Whole Foods slave master might sell a few of his slaves to McDonald's, and that was the only way you was getting off the slave plantation, unless you ran away. You might have ran away, ran into Wendy's. Wendy's a little more nicer. Wendy's may have bought you, and you had better slave life than the next person. So it all depends on what slave master you had. But it's the same like now. Some people got cool bosses, some people don't. But at the end of the day, slavery had to do with work. We tend to think people just had slaves for fun. Oh, I'm buying slaves for fun. It was work, dumb motherfucker. Y'all be slow as shit. Bought slaves for work. The same way you hire a man now for work. It was no difference. The only difference is they give you money now so you can go to your fake house that you live in alone. In the past, they lived on a plantation. So that was your house, your clothing, your food. You lived off the plantation. Now, the plantation only gives you money. And then you take that money and you give it right back to them to rent your own place on the plantation. So just imagine a plantation with different buildings and houses on it. Because a plantation ain't nothing but land. So just imagine 5-acre plantation, and you got houses all around it. And some slaves is paid money so that they can buy their own house. But when they buy it, they give him the money right back to the slave master because he owned the land. So they're really not doing nothing. It's just a fake sense of freedom. I'm free, but you're still on the plantation. You can't leave the plantation. You can't leave America without passport or permission. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Nothing changed. It just got bigger and better. Y'all more locked in. In the past, they could actually run away. Y'all can't do nothing. You can't run away. It's so deep. But it's your main man, Solace, the wise one. Hopefully everybody got something out of this long-ass video. Please donate. I'm trying to get this school for the children. My school is not a school, but it is just 5 acres of land. And I think children should start learning from about 6 years old and up how to grow, sow, and reap. How to grow their own food. You're supposed to know this. See how school messed us up, the society mess you up. It don't teach you nothing about being dependent on self. It just teach you how to be a good slave. But we got to do for self. So I want to get 5 acres and turn it into a school for learning, where children can come out there and we have a bunch of seeds and a bunch of space for them to plant and grow and get a hang. So by the time they 12, 13, they masters of growing. Like those in the past. Everybody knew how to grow and sow in ancient times. Everybody. A 5-year-old knew how to grow and sow, and it was common sense. 5 years old milking the cow. Like they knew how to... A 5-year-old could have took care of himself better than a grown man now in the past. You get a 6-year-old from 1450, America, and you get a 30-year-old man now, and I bet you the 6-year-old be good. Out in the world alone. Good. Could feed itself and do everything. Because they was learning that from birth. They be attached to mommy's strap. While she's sewing and they know. They watching that they knew that before they could walk. As they've seen mommy walking and learning how to walk, they was learning how to grow and sew. So you figure by the time most people were 6, 7 years old, they knew how to build a home, grow and sow food. They knew how to skin an animal, take the hide. Like they done seen this so many times from birth to 6. They knew it. And I think our young need to know this. It's important. You need to know how to sow and grow. They need to know how to build from the beginnings, from the chopping down of the tree and the cutting of the wood. They need to know from the beginnings every aspect. Same with sewing. They need to know how to skin the animal and all of that, and how to make the leather out of the animal's hide, and how to pick the cotton and mix the cotton with this fabric, and how to make everything from scratch. I want to have 5 acres of land for that. And it's not just for kids. I feel like adults need to learn this too, but you know, adults be stuck in their ways. But kids, I wish this was around when I was a child, because I would have been out there. I want to get horses out there so the young can ride the horses, start to get a sense of oneness back with the animals, get some raccoons and different animals out there on the land. So, because children are more receptive to these things, and they be one with the animals and truly learn from the life. Because the animals going to teach the kids. They going to run behind the animals. This is how you got coon clans and all of that. From the kids. Kids running behind the animals. They become one with the animals, man. That's their brother to them. Just like you. You got a 3-year-old child and you got a 6-month-old dog. And the child done known the dog since he was born. And they like one. That's his brother to him. So it's a deep thing. That's how it was in the past. Except the animals out in the wild, they got more intellect. You gotta grasp. You learn how to build a house from watching the animal. Like, they smart. They know. There's no struggle in their day. It's all flow. So you have to grasp. They only have troubles because of the troubles that men bring upon them. But if there were no men here, animals would be great. They only take what they need from the life. So there would never be a shortage. They don't steal. Unless they have to, because men is around, so it's a shortage of everything. So they have to steal from one another too. But normally, animals just do what they need. They take what they need. You ain't never seen a gorilla ripping bananas off the tree and just throwing them. He done ate his share. He full. Now he ripped. You don't see that. Because they don't do that. They just take what they need. They got respect for the life. They may not have respect for the fellow gorilla, and he may be, oh, fuck that gorilla up. But he would never disrespect the life and rip the bananas off and say, fuck your bananas and your food. Nah, that's disrespecting the life. I'm going to leave the bananas there and barbecue your ass. So that's how the animal's mind move. I ain't going to hurt the life, I'm just going to hurt you. And you going to learn. I love animals, man, they deep. I'm not talking about the pets. I'm talking about the animals. I spend countless hours watching National Geographic. Because the way they move, I'm intrigued by it, man. They geniuses on a whole nother level. I learned a lot from ants and I learned everything from trees. Trees are the smartest. They hold the memory of everything. They hold the information of everything. The squirrels, the ants, everything comes in contact with the trees. And the trees, they the wisest thing on the planet. It's a deep thing. I don't want to freak y'all out. I'll make y'all think I'm bugging or anything, but trees are the wisest. And it's a deep, deep thing, man. Truly deep. I wish y'all could see life the way I see it, because it's a beautiful thing. I see the beauty of life, and then I see the way we live. And it's sad. It's like looking in the glass refrigerator at a bunch of beautiful food, but you can't get to it. That's how it is when I look at life, and then I see y'all, I'm like, so simple. We could all be filthy rich, rolling around in all the greatness that the life produces for us. But men rather rule over each other and charge each other for stuff that life produces. It's sad. But it's your main man Solace, the groovy wise one. Hopefully everyone has a good evening. 'Cause I sure am.